She stood there laughing, like she'd already won one hand on her spotless Tesla, like it was the Hope Diamond of Willow Ridge, and you know what? She actually giggled out. "You won't dare touch my Tesla," as if that's some sacred neighborhood law. Not a hiss, not a scream, a giggle, the kind you'd expect from someone who's never had to work a day in their life or deal with a lug nut that just won't budge. I was standing there with grease on my hands, a rental forklift humming behind the fence, 3 days worth of Karen-induced irritation bubbling up, and I just grinned and said, "Watch me." Yeah, that's how it started. A war over a driveway. Sounds dumb, right? But around here, HOA rules are like the 10 Commandments, only less reasonable and a lot more expensive. I'd only been in that house 6 months, a rundown fixer-upper with a double-deep driveway, just perfect for a guy who flips cars and likes restoring old motorcycles in his spare time. To me, that driveway was freedom. To Karen, my neighbor and the self-crowned queen of the block, it was apparently a personal attack. She believed driveways were only for shiny white luxury cars parked just so tires scrubbed daily, not a speck of dirt. God forbid anyone enjoy themselves. Her Tesla Pearl White, parked right on the line between our properties, angled so the rear bumper barely flirted with my side like a dog marking territory, if you want the truth. First week she parked a little over the line, no big deal. Second week she blocked half my access, claimed she thought I'd be gone. I tried to let it go. But then week 3, she left a note on my windshield. "Too many greasy vehicles ruin our curb appeal." That's when I knew I wasn't up against ignorance. I was up against a Karen. I started documenting everything, photos times even video. But I kept it cool at least for a while. She didn't. Pretty soon she was reporting me for oil stains that didn't exist, calling code enforcement about a trailer I had parked for 48 hours, totally legal by the way, and complaining about my porch lights being aggressive. What's an aggressive porch light? You tell me. She'd been HOA president for 3 years and the board was her personal wine club. Every complaint I filed vanished. Every one of hers hit me with a fine. The moment it got truly ridiculous was a Thursday night when I pulled up and found her Tesla dead center across my driveway. Not just close right across it like she'd drawn a line in the sand and dared me to cross. She was out front watering the same 3 hydrangeas for nearly an hour, humming Taylor Swift like this was her own personal music video. I asked politely if she could move the car. She gave me this "oops, silly me" routine and promised she'd move it soon. I ended up parking on the street and sending the HOA a full complaint with photos. 2 days later, I got a $100 fine for unauthorized vehicle proximity to common property lines. Turns out Karen had filed a counter-complaint saying I was trying to intimidate her with my lawnmower. I laughed until the next morning when my mailbox was crushed and her Tesla sat sparkling clean right back in position. Checked my camera's footage, gone from 2 to 4 a.m. Funny how her brother just happened to work in IT. That's when I realized I needed a new plan. Cops couldn't help, the city didn't care. Gave me a voucher for a new mailbox. Like that solved anything. Meanwhile, Karen started spreading rumors about me turning the block into a junkyard. Even started a poll on Facebook about banning driveway mechanics. She used a photo of my Camaro restoration as the thumbnail. The cherry on top. She hosted an HOA garden party, string lights, champagne PowerPoint about suburban elegance, and her Tesla lit up like a stage prop straddling the driveways again for all to see. She sauntered over, gave me that infamous giggle and purred. "You won't dare touch my Tesla." I just tapped my phone and walked inside. She had no idea I'd called in a favor. A buddy who worked construction owed me one. That afternoon, a forklift showed up in my back lot for equipment testing. I built a quick ramp to the shared front. By midnight, the party was over. Her guests were gone. The Tesla sat alone, and I rolled that forklift around silent as a cat. Carefully using old boards to protect her precious pavers, I lifted the Tesla, slid it down my driveway and over to the neighborhood lake. There's a boat launch there, no gate, no cameras, nothing. I'd set up some skids earlier, eased the Tesla onto them, and left it about 15 feet offshore, just enough to make getting it out a public, expensive, humiliating mess. The next morning, I drank the best cup of coffee of my life as Karen's shriek rang out down the block. She pounded on my door. I didn't answer. She called the cops, and when they showed up, I handed them video after video of her blocking my driveway. The cop told her, "Ma'am, technically he moved it." The look on her face, let's just say if looks could kill, I'd be a ghost. By noon, everyone was gathered at the lake, watching her car bob in the water like some lost relic from the Museum of Eco-Disasters. Teenagers were snickering, people were taking photos, and Karen was losing her mind, accusing me of everything from theft to eco-terrorism. When the tow truck finally arrived, biggest rig I've ever seen, they had to winch the Tesla out with inflatable rafts. Insurance company wouldn't cover it, of course. Neighborhood gossip never ran so hot. But if you think that was the end, you haven't met a real Karen. That evening, she showed up in my driveway with a city inspector accusing me of running a commercial business out of my garage. I just showed the guy my registration, my titles, no business licenses, nothing to see. He apologized and left. Karen wasn't done. She upped the pettiness. Trash cans knocked over mail, gone missing, fines for improper exterior lighting. Then Saturday, at 6:43 a.m., she led a bullhorn-wielding brigade down the street, inspecting everyone's homes for violations. Claimed my garage door was 3 shades darker than the HOA-approved palette. I pointed out there was no actual rule about paint shade. She'd passed one, of course, in a barely attended meeting, but I'd had enough. So I filed for a special meeting, not just to push back, but to run for HOA president. Turns out I wasn't the only one tired of her reign of terror. The Johnsons were still mad she'd shut down their kids' lemonade stand. Mr. Carmichael got fined for his rose trellis. Folks started coming to my backyard for coffee venting, telling stories. When voting day came, Mrs. Alvarez, the only neutral party in the neighborhood, counted the votes. Karen got 14, I got 32. Didn't rub it in, but I took that gavel and said, "Let's talk about those driveway rules." First order of business, I killed her slush fund refunds all around. Quarterly open meetings. Transparency was the new law. Karen scoffed, but the tide had turned. She tried to get revenge called, and zoning officers accused me of building a meth lab, her words, in my garage. But for once, the neighborhood saw through her act. The real twist, when she installed a fortress-like steel gate security cameras, the whole 9 yards, violating half a dozen codes, she herself wrote, I sent her a compliance notice. She fired back with a letter from her lawyer suing me for emotional distress and property destruction. My lawyer laughed, then countered with evidence of every fine complaint, even some doctored security footage she'd erased. Her law firm dropped her after seeing the receipts. When I finally proved her new gate sat 2 feet into HOA green space, thanks to an old survey pin I'd noticed ages ago, the board voted to force its removal. The morning the demolition order kicked in, her gate tried to close in self-destructed sparks, and all the neighborhood gathering just to watch. She yelled, blamed me, called me obsessed. I said I'd just read the rules. She screamed, slammed her door. That was the second act. But you know what really did it? I used a loophole to buy the little triangle of land under her driveway at HOA auction. For $237, I owned the ground beneath her new gate and archway. When she tried to rebuild, I called a demo crew Saturday morning, 9 a.m. She came out in a sun hat, watering can in hand, and I told her, "You built on my land." The Bobcat took care of the rest right in front of half the neighborhood and a very entertained cop. The weirdest part is how fast things cooled off. She tried to start a rebellion, print flyers, stir up outrage, but the only people listening were her and her cat's vet. One morning she came over, no pearls, no clipboard, handed me a note. I was wrong. You were right. I don't want to fight anymore. No apology, no signature, Just that. And somehow, after all that drama, that was enough. The sabotage stopped. Complaints vanished. We even managed to nod at the 4th of July block party progress, I guess. The neighborhood changed, too. People stopped whispering, started helping out. Garden gnomes sprouted everywhere. Nobody cared. I stopped being the new guy. I became the neighbor who fixed things, the one who wouldn't be pushed around. Sometimes I wonder what it's all about. Maybe it was never the car, the gate, or the driveway. Maybe it was just about power and what happens when someone finally stands up to it. So next time a Karen giggles and tells you what you won't dare do, just smile, take a breath, and make sure your tape measure is handy. Who knows? Maybe you'll end up with a story worth telling too. So what do you think? Was I right or did I go too far? Let me know down below. What's your wildest neighborhood showdown and where's the line between standing up and pushing back? I'll be reading every comment, I promise.